Tony, were you confident that if your guys continued to play hard at the defensive end, that shots would eventually fall, particularly from Ty?
Yeah, I mean, I thought VCU did a terrific job of playing physical, making us, shoot some contested shots. Their numbers are impressive, their field goal percentage defense, and that's what they've been doing to people. I think that's about their average. We shot around 29, is that right, 29%? I don't want to put my glasses back on again, try to get those off. But I thought we were a little impatient. A couple times we turned it over, and we needed to just, who was going to outlast who? And we needed to move hard, screen hard, and Momedy gave us a nice lift with some inside buckets, and then, you thought, yeah, Ty and Kyle were going to, at least if they got the looks and take them, I'm okay with it, if it's especially out of the offense, and you needed to use the dribble because of how aggressive they were defensively. So we just kind of stuck with what we did and a couple little things here and there and tried to toughen up defensively.
Kihei, obviously not 100%. First off, what's up with the hand?
Sure.
And then just talk about his on-ball defense,
Yeah.
just how he can change the game.
He about made me jump out of my shoes when he got that 10-second call. Our staff said, I've never seen a guy do that on an individual defender, and I said, I have. Muggsy Bogues. I said, I've played with him. He used to do that to people. I thought that was terrific. His heart and his ability, we've watched this against high-quality players because Evans is a terrific player for them, and he just sets the D, and how can you not get excited if you're behind that defensively? And he played with a great heart. His status is this: he's going to have surgery tomorrow. He, in the Morgan State game, injured his wrist with a hairline fracture, so he'll have surgery tomorrow, and that's why he practiced a couple days in that protective cast, and it's what they do with football players. But I think you could see a few times it affected him. And then we'll just go from there as far as a timeline. It's after surgery, how things heal and what he'll do, and then he'll go back into the cast and take it from there. But he's like, Coach, I want to play. And so we practiced him with that cast on to protect the wrist. And he was effective in practice, and, it didn't affect his heart or his legs, that's for sure. I think, going left it was an issue, but thought he showed, he brought what we needed with the drive, and, again, a couple fumbles here and there, but that's the status. So hopefully, like I said, it'll go well tomorrow, and we'll give you more updates as that thing goes on.
Mike, offensively, the fact that it was kind of Kyle carrying you in the first half, Ty in the second, was there something they changed to focus on Kyle, or is it just the way the shots came?
Yeah, I think, they made the looks tough. They really tagged Kyle hard. They were physical. Last year they were a little different how they guarded him. They shortcut the screens more, and this time they locked, and they were, again, very, very physical and on there. I'm not saying they were fouling, I was just saying they were physical. And so you had to really set up your cuts, and he had to work to get off screens, and it maybe wouldn't be there after the first time or two. You had to move, soften them, get a little separation, and then, get open, and then mix in some attacking off the bounce. So I just thought we got more to who we had to be offensively in the second half. And I was kind of scanning around, trying a few too many things in the first half. Well, this wasn't looking good, so we tried different little actions and sets, and I thought we just needed to become more who we were and give those guys a chance to move and get shots.
Josh.
Yeah, and then Ty hit some shots, and he was aggressive driving. Eventually it's hard to keep guys from getting open looks, so I don't know if they changed how they guarded Kyle in the second half or first half.
Tony, what does it do for you as a coach when you have a player like Ty, who you guys are down by 3 and the crowd kind of gets to its feet and he just steps into that 3 confidently? What does that do for you when you have a player like that who can just take it like that?
Well, I've seen that in him from his first year to now, and he shoots, makes big shots, shoots tough shots. Sometimes you're like, okay, when you have to give him the freedom to be aggressive. And I told him, I said, just, you have to be as sound as you can and as smart as you can, but you got to be aggressive. That's who he is. And if it ever gets over the edge, all right, then you talk to him about it. He's smart enough to know, but that's how he's wired. And that's why I think Kyle is wired like that, but Kyle lets it come at the right times. Ty's usually got the ball in his hands a little more, but you need that in those moments. And there's a couple guys that have been in a lot of hard-fought games.
Okay, Caroline, then John.
Coach, 26 for 30 from the free throw line tonight.
Yep.
Getting more aggressive, driving the lane, but also having Kihei Kyle and DeAndre combined to go 20 for 21. How big is that in a game like this where it's so physical?
Yeah, no, when they pressure you the way they do, you have to be good off the bounce. And, because, yes, we screened them and got loose and hit a couple shots, but sometimes that was off of penetration. So you had to take it in there and know that there's going to be quick hands poking at it and draw some fouls. Again, it was a physical game on both parts, and I think it was just, not the prettiest shooting game, but I don't think you can fault the defensive effort and some of the plays that were made. So, yeah, you gotta find when you're shooting that percentage, how do you get points, whether it's offensive rebounds or at the free throw line. And that was a big play when Ty hit the three, and Kyle, I'll look at that on tape. There's a couple pivotal plays that were significant. But as I started, Coach Rhodes does a good job. I watched them. They should have beat St. John's, as the last play. They play really hard. They play with the right kind of heart, and he's doing a heck of a job with that program, and that's good for both teams to play in that game, and both teams were capable of winning that one.
Take one on the left and then Jeff.
Coach mentioned the physicality. What stood out to most of you about the play of VC's bigs, particularly Marcus Santos Silva inside?
He's physical. What, is he a sophomore, I think? Yeah, he's got a wide body, carves out space. His stat line was, excuse me a second. He was, he had 10 rebounds, and we've seen Jack. Sometimes we were thinking we better double him in the post, but Jack has gone against some pretty good big guys, and we just tried to wear it out. And then I thought Momedy, with his quickness and his length, at times bothered him, but he's a factor to have 6 offensive rebounds, and if you don't put a body in him or have other people coming out, that's a problem, and I saw that in him. He gives him a great anchor in the middle, and I was impressed with him, especially knowing he's young. I think he's going to be a good one, and you can see that.
David and then Jeff. Jeff and then David.
Momedy played well at the end of the regular season last year and then in the ACC tournament. What's been holding him back really this season until
Right.
today?
I'm sure many would say me, so I'm used to that. But, Momedy, I was so happy for him. And he's been a little inconsistent. And this is not an excuse. This is fact. He's still new to the game. You hear me say that, I sound like a broken record. He doesn't, from an American standpoint, he hasn't played as much. And I think he's continuing to improve. He's gotten in foul trouble early. Sometimes it's matchups, but he just had 2 good days of practice. He simplified, and he just played hard. I said, Mommy, you know enough. Play hard and don't worry about anything else. But again, his ability to catch and finish on some of either a post move or a quick pocket pass, make his free throws, and I liked him defensively today. I thought he was locked in. A couple times he grabbed some rebounds in the first half and lost it, but I thought he gave us a tremendous lift.
Tony, one of the few times that Evans was able to get past Kihei, he reached around and poked it loose and created that loose ball or jump ball. Has he shown that knack since he's been here, that ability to poke from behind and create turnovers?
Yeah, he can do it however he wants. And then the shot, as I just looked at, because Marcus is a heck of a player, played for Devin Hall's father, and was very good at Rice. I looked at the shot he made. It was an unbelievable shot that Kihei was draped all over him. And again, I have an experience. I was fortunate to play with Muggsy for 3 years, and I just have seen him, pester guys and bother guys, whether it's in front, behind. Muggsy used to go for steals in the backcourt. No problem if he missed. He'd run behind, and he'd play the guys didn't know which way he was coming from. Once they turned their head, he'd take it from behind. He's so quick, and he understands that's who he is, and you can just see it in his eyes, his fists ball up, and he's there, and yeah, he can pester it. Usually guys don't get by him, so, but when you're that low to the ground and that quick, you can do things like that, and that was a huge play too. He got the jump, right? He got on the ball, and that was our jump. Yeah, that's right.
We'll take one more from Paul.
Tony, 9 games in, and you had 4 guys play 32-plus minutes. Is that too many? You've got a long season ahead of you. How do you feel about that?
I think we played the guys that we needed to, and I told the guys that didn't play as much, stay ready. DeAndre played more, but there's media timeouts, and each game demands different things, but I think the guys that have played a lot played well enough. DeAndre, that wasn't a typical game for him, though he was good at the line, and I know he'll grow from it, but for right now, I was glad to see Momedy get more minutes, and I think there's improvement from some other guys, but the right guys are out there for right now, in my opinion. And I'm sure other people will disagree, but we got to keep coming and keep building depth.
Thanks, Tony. We'll get Coach Rose in here.